Hey, this is Sam Black with the 4th round of this sealed daily event. I've won the roll and chosen to play, and kept a slow hand with all my colors. Guarantee of being able to cast an Ancient Silverback, and if I draw some creatures, I can chord for a reasonable defensive creature at some point in the middle turns. Draw Triplicate Spirits, which is great because it's a powerful card and I don't have a lot of different spells to work with, so I need them to be high impact, but doesn't offer any plays early. My opponent's not really coming out of the gates though. And I draw a spell that I can cast next turn, which is good because it means that at least starting next turn I'm going to be able to spend all of my mana every turn basically. And my opponent doesn't have a 3-drop, so I'm feeling pretty good about this game. If my opponent had curved out, I would probably lose, but now, especially having drawn Kurt Chieftain, I feel like I'm in a great spot. A ton of power and I'm ahead on board. And at 4 mana he needs Stoke the Flames exactly out of those colors to answer Kurt Chieftain, which is kind of embarrassing for black. That even at uncommon it just doesn't have a way to kill a 4/4. So I hit him for 4, play Razorfoot Griffin. Blaze Paragon. It's surprising to me that he didn't hit me for 2 with Softshade first. I draw a land and attack with my guys. And he chump blocks with Softshade, which is a really weird block. And at this point, so when he blocked, I was expecting Ulcerate, which he didn't play because, of course, I would just pump my Kurt Chieftain. I should have realized that he has the Ulcerate, and his plan is to wait for me to tap out and then Ulcerate my Kurt Chieftain. And I should have just passed here because I'm so far ahead on board, there's no reason to let him do that. On the other hand, I'm not that worried about losing my Kurt Chieftain, so I have so much other power here. So what I do is I play my Triplicate Spirits, and he does have Ulcerate and kills my Kurt Chieftain, but now he's going to 11 and I have 5 power worth of flyers, so I'm not even sure that that's really that bad for me. So I take 2 on the ground, and he plays Stab Wound, and now Fester Gloom is basically what he needs to answer those spirits, but that doesn't do anything about the fact that I am going to get to play Ancient Silverback with Regeneration mana, which is going to be incredibly hard for Red Black to deal with. And he just concedes to Ancient Silverback. So the Ulcerate turn was the only really interesting play of that game. For the most part, my opponent's draw was just terrible, and mine was slow but powerful, which beats terrible. So back for game 2. My opponent is going to choose to play and keep 7. And my hand doesn't have green, but it seems fine other than that. Phyto Titan is likely good against his red-black deck. If I do draw green at some point, play Kinspeller. Well, next turn I'll play Kinspeller Skirmisher. This is not shaping up great. I haven't drawn anything I can cast or a forest. Again, my opponent doesn't play anything for the first 3 turns. Hit him for 2. Pass. And he just Stab Wounds my guy, which is a pretty weak turn 4. He's also missing his 4th land. I draw Forest for Satyr Wayfinder. And unfortunately, when I need it most, brick on the Satyr Wayfinder. Which was pretty big hit. If I had found a forest here, I'd be well positioned to cast Phytotitan next turn, have Court of Calling online, and feel like I'd be in pretty good shape. As is, I could easily lose to this Juggernaut. Draw a forest, which is certainly a start. And now I can just pass with Court of Calling for Hornet Nest. So he attacks the Juggernaut, and I chord, get the Hornet Nest, but unfortunately he has Ulcerate. So he hits me for 5. I draw Heliod's Pilgrim, which I decided to cast instead of casting Mark Banner, or decide to attack first. And then cast the Pilgrim. Find Verdant Haven. I think this line is wrong. I think I probably should have just Mark Bannered the Satyr Wayfinder to try to trade for the Juggernaut, and then I can just draw a land or to play Phytotitan or Heliod's Pilgrim later, since I couldn't even cast the Verdant Haven that turn to let me Phytotitan on the next turn. He attacks and I go to 10. And he plays Hoarding Dragon. So now I really need to draw lands so that I can Phytotitan, block the Juggernaut, get Phytotitan back, and then hunt the Hoarding Dragon, and then get Phytotitan back again. That is my line to not lose this game. Unfortunately, I drew Willforged Golem and not a land. I can play the Golem and trade that for Juggernaut, but then I'd still be dead to the Hoarding Dragon, so instead what I have to do is chump block the Juggernaut, and then plan to hunt the Dragon, and then block the Juggernaut with the 5/5. But he has Flesh to Dust, so that line's off the table. So I chump block the Juggernaut, go to 6, and now I'm back to hoping to draw land, play Phytotitan, block the Juggernaut, go to 2, get Phytotitan back, hunt the Dragon, and hope he just has nothing. I draw a forest and play the Phytotitan. Leave my guy back in case he has something to give myself an out, because the 1 damage doesn't matter. And he plays Paragon to put his dragon up to 5 power, and then Inferno Fists his dragon, which makes it lethal. And I die. Game might have been winnable if I played the Mark Banner instead of the Heliod's Pilgrim, to buy a bunch of time against the Juggernaut, and then I think I might have been in a spot to have enough life to actually hunt the Hoarding Dragon at some point. So another game that was not really played optimally. So I'm on the play for the 3rd game. And keep a hand without green again. And draw Willforged Golem, just play a land and pass. And my opponent plays land and passes, and I draw a forest, play Netcatcher Spider, and now I have a functional hand. For the 3rd time, my opponent doesn't do anything for the first 3 turns, but this time it's because he missed his 3rd land drop. So, not wanting to run into Lightning Strike or Ulcerate, I just attack with the Spider and play Venom Sliver. My opponent stab wounds my Spider. I take 2, but that seems totally raceable. And I can play Willforged Golem and hit him for 1. And he draws a 4th land and plays Juggernaut, which gives me an out to the stab wound. So I'll take just a bit of damage from that, and I can stop worrying about it. And I can play Seraph of the Masses. I obviously don't want to trade anything other than blocking with Netcaster Spider for Juggernaut, so no attacks. Throw Netcaster Spider away. He ulcerates my Seraph. And now I can attack and Chord for Hornet Nest. But I don't really want to have him have a removal spell from my Hornet Nest. So instead, my line here is going to be to block and Chord for Kurd Chieftain, which gives me 2 4/4s and the ability to pump one of them when he's at 10, which feels pretty lethal, especially when I have Punt the Weak and Mark by Honor in hand. So block, Chord for Chieftain, trade off with his Juggernaut, and all he has is some guys that collectively are not big enough to block either of my guys, even without pumping. So I'll just play a land and attack with both my guys and force him to chump, and then I can trample, which will put him to 1 against my 2 creatures and a removal spell. So basically unlosable spot, and my opponent concedes.